Cooking your spirit with some fava beans and a nice bottle of Chianti. This is the New World Order broadcast, coming to you live from the end of the world.
Thank you very much for watching the New World Order. I am your host, the Hatman. This is your other host, Talking Head number
Am
5.
I really?
Yes. And this is my other host, Harry.
He's got hands.
Harry the Taxman.
Harry the Hands, whatever his last name is.
How much have you had to drink? Jesus Christ.
I'm just trying to be exuberant.
So
I don't understand what your problem is.
Listen. That's not the way a microphone works. That was funny. All right, so I did a little thinking the other night.
A dangerous pastime, I know.
I know. The foo, I'm afraid I've been thinking.
A dangerous pastime?
I know. I do feel like the era that we're in politically is very akin to
Les Miserables.
That's from Beauty and the Beast. How dare you?
What do you? Les Miserables is Les Miserables.
Oh, bleh. I thought you were talking about the song we just sang to each other.
Oh no! I was just bringing up Victor Hugo's seminal recounting of the fucking French Revolution.
Tale of Two Cities. Yeah, I got you. But it feels spiritually, if I can be forgiven for using that word, on par with the Satanic Panic of the 1980s.
Sure, which we've talked about, yeah.
Which is when you had a lot of right-wing conservative Christian groups who were saying that all of the evils in our society are due to Satanists and satanic covens.
And you just need to Jesus it out, man.
You had books written like Michelle Remembers, where her psychiatrist hypnotized her, and all of a sudden she regressed into memories of a past in which she was abducted by a satanic cult and forced to eat semen, suck dick, had babies ripped out of her stomach, all sorts of other things.
Also nachos.
And then you find out that the guy who wrote the book, Michelle Remembers, who was her psychiatrist, and profited greatly from the exchange.
Oh, sure.
Also had an affair with her.
Well, the funny thing is, like, it's things like the Amityville Horror and stuff like that. Like, the people who wrote that shit, the people who lived in that house conspired with them to write this fantastical story to sit there and make money. It's like, it's all just money. It's money, people. Stop.
Well, it's money and it's art. And I've said this, the motivation is certainly money, but I've said this before. I'm not interested in facts. I'm interested in
fiction.
I'm interested in what people believe. I think that is more useful than what may or may not be true, because I'm not dealing with the world at large.
It's certainly more pertinent. I will give you that.
I'm not dealing with the world at large. I'm dealing with other people.
Which are the world at large, but as individuals. And that's one of the big things that you and I have talked about is how... if you're doing something that's good for the whole versus good for the individual, the whole is just a group of individuals.
So any individual that I am in front of, I am encountering a new world. If I'm in a group of individuals, there's going to be a consensus reality basis.
Well, this is what it's like when worlds collide. Are you ready to go? Because I'm ready to go. What you gonna do? Baby.
All right, let's pause real quick. What are you doing? You are completely throwing me off.
Okay, never mind.
What are you doing?
Power Man 5000, Worlds Collide.
No,
Anyway.
but what are you doing? What's with the fucking shticky vibe?
I was just trying to help out. You felt like the energy was like a little low.
No, my energy was low. That has
I'm
nothing
trying to perk you up.
There's nothing to do with you. You're throwing me off.
All right, I'll be more subdued.
Jesus Christ! I feel like we're doing the car guys on NPR. like, is that what we're doing now?
No, I was just trying to be.
Hey, talking head, I have a problem with my car. There's smoke coming out of the vents, and it smells a little bit like pancake syrup. What's going on? My mechanic told me it's a coolant leak, but I don't trust him. Did I just spill some McDonald's pancake syrup behind the dash?
If you have to ask that question, you have been eating McDonald's pancakes off of your dash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then this is a real episode of Car Guys on NPR.
Oh, that's funny.
They go, yes, that's exactly what happened. Your mechanic is lying to you. You definitely spilt pancake syrup behind your dashboard.
It's probably the radiator fluid.
No shit, but she doesn't understand that smoking coolant smells like pancake syrup. She's not getting that. So they fuck with her for 20 minutes, making really bad attempts at jokes. And then they get around to, no, it is the coolant. Next caller.
Oh, it's not what I was trying to do, but in that vein, I do want to sit there and say that that pancake syrup is just one of those smells that if you're operating a machine and you're smelling that, there's something wrong.
In any case, like, anytime you're smelling pancake syrup while operating a machine, it's a bad sign.
So most coolant smells like that, whether
Yeah.
it's hydraulic fluid, antifreeze.
Oh, hydraulic
et cetera,
fluid as well.
Yeah. So
I thought you meant like if you're eating pancakes while you're operating a machine.
So that's
also
the
bad
only
news.
situation in which you're okay, is
Okay.
if you're eating pancakes while operating heavy machinery, which I do not advise. It's everything's gonna get sticky, but anyway.
The worst news about that is sticky fingers and being distracted from your job.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So let's start over.
Okay, fair enough.
So anyway, Jesus Christ. Do I have legislative power to cut you off? Like, usually I'm the person doing this nonsense. At least you're a fun drunk. I'm a terrible drunk.
Nah, agreed.
Yeah, it's accurate. So during the Satanic Panic, Michelle remembers, I mean, there were rumors being thrown around with, Satanists will steal unbaptized babies and they'll drink their blood with a straw.
Only the non-baptized ones.
Only
That's
non-baptized.
That's the fun. Yeah.
Well, God protects.
yeah, of
God
course.
protects. And
That's-
only...
that piss that you took on their head was just, all the protection you needed.
Yeah. The little holy water sprinkle. Yeah. And this is propaganda that was perpetrated against the Jews during Nazi Germany. And you brought up another time when that has
North Korea.
North Korea.
So
yeah.
so they actually have there's this great segment that I sat there and watched where investigative journalist from America went to North Korea, and there's this famous story in North Korea about these American GIs who sat there, and there's this woman who was like some kind of freedom fighter in their mythos, who they spiked a 3-pronged trident into her neck that had a straw built into the 3-pronged trident and sucked her blood out of her like she was a fucking milkshake.
Because Americans are...
Dogs, yeah.
Yeah, evil.
Evil.
Yeah, evil people. Evil people will historically
Drink your blood.
steal
through
your
straws.
babies and drink their blood through a straw. Why not just bite into the thing?
Like, that's the thing to me. Like
Is that
the
like
straw necessary?
Is that like a sophistication thing? Like, it's a good vintage, but it's not the best.
The fact that it was a trident is the thing that, they needed 3 inputs of blood to get enough blood into there, and like that was the only thing that was acceptable.
I thought the trident was just like a symbol of evil, and even in their culture, like it is like
Maybe?
Satan's trident in Western culture.
Probably
Forgetting the past of that symbol, you know, just like completely transmorgifying it into a symbol of the devil.
Oh, I'm
Like
sure
Pan,
that. Yeah, I'm sure
you
that
know.
has something to do with it. But it's
Yeah.
like just the fact that
The
they're
goat
like,
of Mendes.
So they even emblazoned this onto like, you know how we have like the what the fuck is the name of that company? The whatever mint that makes those stupid commemorative plates.
I don't know. Danbury.
Oh, I don't. I
The
literally
Danbury
don't
mint.
know. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
asking.
yeah. I think it's the Danbury mint you're talking about.
Yeah, so like they make commemorative plates. They have commemorative North Korean plates that depict this woman having the blood sucked out of her by American GIs through a trident.
Really?
You can purchase these in the gift shop.
Holy shit. Okay. Interesting. Now.
I blame Poseidon.
Yeah, well, you should. He started the whole thing. I don't know what he had to do with blood and
Trident-wielding
babies.
bastard.
Man, we might be too drunk to do this. I was thinking about starting with spirit cooking. But
So what is spirit cooking? Because you've been alluding to this the whole time. So how does one cook a spirit? Do
so
you,
I've been feeling
what
like
do you set the oven to? Like that's
yeah.
where I want.
No,
to
there are
start.
recipes. Yeah. So I have been thinking that right now because I'm stuck in a little bit of a right-wing bubble. And the reason why I'm stuck in a right-wing bubble is because I realized through a very dangerous scenario when I was in media blackout, living in Philadelphia, that there had been a riot going on for 3 days where buildings were burning down 6 blocks from my apartment, and I had no idea what was going on. So I was like, I have to consume something that's going to give me information, but I do not trust the legacy media. I have to consume something. So I realized that I was going to end up in a little bit of a right-wing bubble because that's the antithesis to a certain extent of the legacy media, which is largely ruled by leftist ideologies. So I was prepared for that. One thing I keep coming across over and over again is a very interesting artist named Marina Abramovic. No, I'm sorry.
Abramovic.
Abramovic. Marina Abramovic.
Yes. I can see the name on the screen as well.
I was practicing saying that all morning before I took a nap when you were on your way here, and I still fucked it up. God damn it.
Marina Abramovic.
Good job. Abramovic. Abramovic.
Yeah, that's what it
Not
looks like.
Abramovic.
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 Or Abramovic.
So, anybody that this woman has association with, and she is right now a very, very famous artist. So she has a lot of parties with elites, political elites in entertainment, things like that.
And us as broadcasters have to sit there and be privy to this stuff, and I have no idea what the fuck this is.
I'm going to explain it to you. So in the right-wing bubble that I find myself in, which was a calculated move, and I saw that this was going to happen.
It was a bad calculation.
It was
the calculator was a TI-87, and it was low on batteries.
It was a necessary calculation. No matter how many batteries I put in there, was going to be like
it just kept spewing out Satan.
You could what's that fucking with the short haircut on CNN or whatever her name is that she was like, you take the vaccine, COVID stops with you.
Well, so I'm
What's her
going
name?
to stop short of that verse, like, but I think
I called her. You didn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think you're talking about Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Maddow. Thank you. So Rachel Maddow, and I was like, well, either you're going to be exposed to that on a regular basis, or you're going to have to build up your bullshit filter and take in something that's a little entertaining to boot. Because one's just totally cringe, and you can't trust it anyway.
And the other's just toxic.
And the other one, you know, it's entertaining. It'll let you know generally what's going on, but there's a lot of bullshit. So I was like, I made my choice. It was a calculated move.
You chose poorly.
That remains to be seen, my friend.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of Rachel Maddow. I feel like she's like the Tucker Carlson of the left. So
pretty much,
like, fucking don't get me wrong.
No, no, exactly. So I keep running into this artist, and anybody that's associated with this artist, like Jay-Z, Lady Gaga. They're like, oh, here's proof that they're satanic elites that eat humans and fuck kids. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So eventually, because I knew it was bullshit right off the get-go, I'm like, this feels like 1980s Satanic Panic. Interesting. But I knew it was bullshit, so I never bothered looking into it.
Nah, I gotcha.
But I did a deep dive into it last night.
Apparently, because there's so many tabs open.
So many tabs open on my computer right now. Oh, dude, I watched like movies about her, like the whole thing. So, really interesting lady. First of all, let's bring up a new tab. Sorry, I should have had you do this before we started.
You fucking fuck. Like all these tabs.
Copy the name Marina Abramovic. Marina. Oh, there it is. Abramovic. And just take out spirit cooking so we can get to her wiki page.
Wiki, wild bus.
Because I have a few points to make about this individual. Go down.
So I'm going to say she looks very much like a woman, and I get that.
Now
that's
wait,
already
stay right there. Don't scroll.
Yeah.
Don't scroll.
I got you.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah, no, I get that her having a vagina is a problem. Let's move on.
Totally isn't. I love vaginas far more than I love penises that aren't my own. I make love to penises more than I make love to vaginas, so maybe that's telling?
No, I mean, you know, you might be self-gay.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. Like, if there was a clone of me, we're getting it on.
Now, the question is that incest, or is they... Because before we get into all this...
Yes, this is an important question. If
there was a clone of you...
Yes.
Is that incest? If you dominate them, is it
rape
or self-abuse? And if, you know, like, these are questions.
These are important existential questions about identity.
Who we are and who we're fucking when it's us. If you're going to fuck yourself.
Okay, so ask me each question one at a time. I'll give you the answer.
All right, fuck, marry, kill. You, your clone.
No. Ask me the questions that you just asked me before. I'm fucking myself, a clone of myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Is that masturbation or incest?
Incest.
Okay. If you dominate them, is that
rape
or is that self-abuse?
Rape.
Okay.
You know why?
I had.
Because those things are more exciting than the parallels that you give. That's all.
Well, there you go.
And
they get him hard.
They would be legal because it's me. And that's rape is far more exciting when it's legal than self-abuse. So let's go with rape.
Is rape exciting when it's legal? Like that?
Far more than self-abuse.
Real quick question to all the ladies out there, because I know that they're, and I'm not generalizing.
You're going down a dangerous rabbit hole. I made a quick joke. You're going down a dangerous rabbit hole.
I know, but
let's see how you do this.
There are plenty of people out there who have domination or rape fantasies.
Oh, interesting. Didn't see that happening.
So the question being is it
rape
if it's you dominating or raping yourself? That's all I'm asking.
Is masturbation
rape? Yeah.
If you masturbate when you don't want to masturbate.
if you come out of it feeling disgusted, have you raped yourself?
Like when I'm
because if that's the case, I am guilty of a lot of
rape.
Because eventually, when I'm holding the limp noodle in my hand that was my proud member, I'm just like, oh, I'm such a sinful beast.
Oh man, that sounds like a you problem. I'm proud of myself. I'm like, look how much I got out on my 4th try.
Ah, look at the wall. It's so sticky.
Now, when it gets to the point where like you got blisters on your wiener and you're beating it like it owes you money,
you're crying because you're like,
because
why
you don't want to do it again, but you're so hungover, it's the only way you can relieve the stress of what you did the night before. Is that self-abuse or
Grape?
Because you're masturbating, but you don't want to. I'm going to go with
Grape.
It's just more exciting than self-abuse. To me.
We're totally going to
me.
get blacklisted for using the R word so often.
I'm going to beep
on
out
YouTube
so
here.
much of this shit on the YouTube version.
We should probably do grape. It's the grapest.
It's the grapest. Okay.
Right.
Self-abuse I'll keep in, so they'll understand, like, oh, okay, real quick. I'm going to do like a little spot where I record the word.
Grape.
It's got to be quicker. I'll do it.
Grape.
Mm-mm.
Grape.
That's it. Okay. So how old do you think that woman is?
52?
77.
Really?
70,
oh yeah, 46.
72 in that photograph, I believe.
Well, it says she was born in 1946.
Yeah, but that photograph
I didn't know when that photograph
Yeah,
was
go
taken,
down, it
so.
tells you.
Hold on.
I know that she looks exactly the same in very recent videos.
2018.
2018.
Age 77.
Yeah, so 2018, 6 years. 6 years off.
Okay.
So 6 years off 71. So she's 71 in that fucking photograph. Harry guessed late 40s. You said a little nip tuck, late 40s.
I'm only a month older than she is.
So either you're doing something very wrong,
I would jump her bones in a fucking minute.
or she's doing something very right.
Or she's sucking blood real good, and I may take that up.
That's what everybody thinks. So here's what I've been landing on Rumble and everything. You know, right-wing dominated spaces. This is a Satanist. Anybody that associates with her is a Satanist. She eats people. She fucks kids. She steals their adrenochrome. She uses it to keep herself young. She's a witch, a generational witch.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's what I've been laying into. Now, here's the thing that she says that she is. A performance artist. Okay. Now, let's look at some of... Where do you want to go next with this? Do you want to read some of her wiki page?
I have no fucking clue, man. Like, you've just introduced me to a world of, like...
right-wing conspiracy that you have no... I know. You didn't even know what adrenochrome drinking was when we first started this podcast.
I want to point things out here. So, if you're going to sit here and look at this, even this Wikipedia page... Career.
You're so drunk.
No, it's fine. Like, I'm the dog in the burning house.
This is fine.
But look at this shit.
Yeah.
Career. Rhythm 10, rhythm 5, rhythm 2, rhythm 4, rhythm 0. What? What is this career?
Conceptual art.
I'm sorry.
It's the only way you can have a career that has those taglines.
So let's check out rhythm 10.
Okay.
So in her first performance in Edinburgh in 1973, Abramovic explored elements of ritual and gesture. Making use of 20 knives and 2 tape recorders, the artist played the Russian game, in which rhythmic knife jabs are aimed between the splayed fingers of one hand. I always call that knifey finger.
I see you've played knifey spoony before.
Each time she cut herself, she would pick up a new knife from the row of 20 she had set up and record the operation. After cutting herself 20 times, she replayed the tape, listened to the sounds, and tried to repeat the same movements, attempting to replicate the mistakes.
Cutting herself on purpose at that point.
Merging past and present. She set out to explore the physical and mental limitations of the body, the pain and the sounds of stabbing, the double sounds from the history and the replication. With this piece, Abramovic began to consider the state of consciousness of the performer. Once you enter into the performance state, you can push your body to do things you absolutely could never normally do. Now, I've got 2 thoughts.
Okay, what are your 2 thoughts?
Thought number 1. This woman sounds like she's cut from my kind of cloth. Number 2.
Honestly, after all the research I did on her last night, Harry, what did I spend on her? 6 hours before you went to bed? I mean, I like her.
He's still sucking his pinky because he's just thinking about licking her clit.
Relax. Good.
Okay.
Point number 2.
Point number 2. If you're going to name your conceptual things rhythms, I don't understand what you're doing here, because, like, the knife stabbing, I get that she was doing a rhythm on.
Sure.
But the second one, in this performance, Abramovic sought to re-evoke the energy of extreme bodily pain using a large petroleum-drenched star, which the artist lit on fire.
It's a pentagram.
At the start of the performance. Standing outside the star, Abramovic cut her nails, toenails, and hair. When finished with each, she threw the clippings into the flames, creating a burst of light each time. This is not a rhythm. It should have been called incineration.
So what's your point?
Oh, I'm just saying that she's bad at naming her, like, performance art pieces.
Maybe. So go down. Let's see if we can find an entry for spirit cooking. We could read that. Let's see her explanation.
Abramovic worked with Jacob Samuel to produce a cookbook of aphrodisiac recipes, quote unquote, called Spirit Cooking in 1996. These recipes, again in quotes, were meant to be, quote, evocative instructions for actions for thoughts, end quote. For example, one of the recipes calls for, quote, 13,000 grams of jealousy, end quote. While another says, quote, mix fresh breast milk with fresh sperm milk, end quote. I don't know how you get sperm milk. I don't know how you milk sperm.
You milk the penis.
No, I don't know how you milk sperm, because it's sperm milk. It's not male milk. It's not dick milk. It's sperm milk.
Fair enough.
The work was inspired by the popular belief that ghosts feed off intangible things like light, sound, and emotions.
All right. Keep that in mind, everybody. This is an important point. In 1997, Abramovic created a multimedia spirit cooking installation. This was originally installed in the Zaranthia Associazione per I don't know, something, and included white gallery walls with enigmatically violent recipe instructions, painted in pig's blood. According to Alexa Gotthard, the work is a comment on humanity's reliance on ritual in order to organize and legitimize our lives and contain our bodies. Abramovic also published a spirit cooking cookbook containing comico-mystical, which means funny but also created to make you think, self-help instructions that are meant to be simply poetry. Spirit cooking later evolved into a form of dinner party entertainment that Abramovic occasionally lays on for collectors, donors, and friends.
And I'm assuming
all of which have a ton of money.
I'm assuming that's where we're going with this, is that she's obviously hosted these things for celebrities, because I've seen the tabs that are up. And my thing with this is that, okay, so she's a quack. But
really?
no.
I like her.
Well, no, but
let me introduce you to her. We're going to get there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But I would say no more of a quack than any other religious leader, spiritualist, self-help guru, etc., etc.
Artist.
Yeah.
All the same thing.
As far as spirit cooking goes with pig's blood, I mean, I don't have a lot of pigs around, but I don't know what to do with this information, because what?
Yeah, where I think where was that tab where you had something written on the wall in red?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, we can come across that organically, but I'll show you what the installation looked like if you can find that tab. I don't remember which one it was.
Captain Doomburger somewhere. It was somewhere.
It might be the W thing.
I know, you had me delete
No,
some stuff.
I don't think so. No, that's not it.
Hold up.
Yeah, just hover over them. It'll show you what's on the page. No. This way. Oh! Well, there's a video.
Hold up.
I thought I had a picture. Maybe I didn't. I just have
You
a video.
did. Here it is.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So that's what it looks like. So it says, so she has written on the wall in pig's blood, spirit cooking, with a sharp knife, cut deeply into the middle finger of the left hand. Eat the pain.
But there's a whole bunch of stuff to the right of that.
Oh, there's more. Yeah, there's more. Sure. Well, they're all equally thought-provoking and written in pig's blood. There's no difference. I looked at all of them. So if you go to the second tab, what's the second tab? Let's take a look at this. I just want to buy that book, actually. I should have had you move that. Go to the third.
You want me to just close that?
Yeah,
or?
no.
Right.
Keep it open. I need to buy the book. Go to the...
Hold up.
Yeah, go to the... go to W.
All right, so that's that for whatever reason.
Okay, so here's what a spirit cooking ritual looks like in a photograph.
Sure.
So this is a photograph for a spirit cooking ritual. Because she, as an artist, is interested.
I do find,
as she said,
the fact
in
that
ritual.
they have the censor bar over the nipples really funny when you've got like all the
Organs displayed upon the
cadaverous
body.
stuff going on.
Yeah, and we had a whole podcast about that, which is our most famous podcast.
Sex and violence.
Sex and violence. Why is violence okay? But nipples. Like, we have her organs splayed over the top of her body. And Abramovic is looking like a priestess showing you her palms in some sort of evocative gesture over the body laid out on the table with its organs placed on top of it.
I feel like she's just about to plop those hands down on the nips.
But the nips have a black bar covering up because, wait a second.
Yeah, that's
You
unacceptable.
can't show that. We can show you something that might make you vomit or give you nightmares, but give you a boner? No. No, and that shows you where our society's at.
Oh yeah, it's just to give your boner nightmares.
Yeah. My boner has so many nightmares. Let's go to the third tab.
All right.
So I love this conspiracy theory. This is one of my favorites. Lady Gaga at the watermill benefit with Abramovic. Abramovic. Sorry, I keep putting an M there. Abramovic. So there's Lady Gaga with the witch, the sorcerer, at a benefit. It's an arts benefit.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of different conceptual and installation artists and performance artists were there. I watched videos of a lot of this. I'm going to show you one of them. It's pretty cool.
As a responsible journalist, I
Yeah.
have to ask you.
Are you...
How scared should I be?
Which one of those two titles that you just gave yourself am I supposed to believe? And second of all, how scared do you think we need to make people in order to get attention? That's exactly how scared I think you ought to be.
My nipples are terrified.
Your nipples should be terrified. Go to the third tab. So no, wait a second. Actually, stay on there.
All right.
So let's show some more pictures. Okay, so you can get a feel for what this actually is, rather than this, just proof Lady Gaga's a fucking Satanist. There you go.
Okay, so there's a woman in a dress.
It's like
on a
red
farm
carpet
with
on a farm at a benefit. Okay, so here's the spirit cooking. I'm not sure if that's a real person or not, but there is a video. Now, there's never a video of anybody cutting her open and eating her. But there is a video. You see that little spoon in Abramovic's right hand?
Okay.
Lady Gaga takes that spoon, dips it in whatever that syrup-looking substance is. It's probably car
syrup.
coolant.
Probably syrup.
Probably coolant.
Okay.
Remember the thing we just
syrup,
did? That was a callback.
No, I gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably syrup.
Yeah.
Melted chocolate. And dips it in the liquid somewhere between the thighs of the
I'm
body
going to assume that
and tries it.
So what I'm going to assume happened there is that she realized that they needed to do a transmission flush. But we can move on.
And the car guys at NPR were like, "You had a human being in your heater coil? Holy shit!"
Wait, I'm sorry. There was a woman laying down inside of your transmission. Yeah, you got issues.
Now go to the next picture. All right. So this gives you an overall. Oh, there it is. So she's dipping the spoon.
There's
in.
your dippy dip.
Yep. Go to the next one.
Fun dip.
She's trying the. It looks like chocolate or syrup.
Yeah. If I had to guess, it's definitely some kind of syrup.
All right. Red carpet at a farm. This is what this is. This is beautiful people and not beautiful people. Rich people in very nice clothing at an art.
That timing was perfect.
I know, that was pretty
beautiful people. Oh God!
I know. Look at the rosacea and the beard.
Santa Claus.
You know what the sad thing is?
Step.
The sad thing is Abramovic is 77 and looks the way she looks. This guy's probably like 10 years older than me.
This guy looks like Rasputin's grandfather.
If he was still alive today.
No, that was my insinuation.
All right. There you go. Rich person, nice clothing, doing crazy shit. Rich person, nice clothing on gravel. Rich person, terrible clothing.
What's wrong with this guy?
Terrible clothing.
Who is this person?
He's trying to be a hipster. I don't know. Rich person, beautiful clothing. Rich person, terrible clothing, doing something weird. Rich person, nice clothes. 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 Rich couple, nice clothes.
Oh, that guy is doing that thing that I hate.
The duck face?
No, where they buy the suit jacket that's like 2 sizes too small to make them look skinny somehow.
He doesn't look like he's out of shape. What it looks like is her shoulders pushing against his jacket.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is that he bought like a jacket that was not a comfortable fit. He bought something that was going to make him look slim.
Oh, just because of his posture?
Yeah.
Like he looks a little stiff?
Yeah.
So, well, if you don't, the funny thing is, if you don't wear dress clothes every day, if you wear it like a few times a year, you can't help but keep your posture that way. It's so restricting.
Yeah, I mean, they are very tight. Yeah.
You remember when I was about to hire, or I did hire, it didn't work out, but I hired your girlfriend to be my salesperson when I was restarting my photography business, and I bought her really nice clothes. It's like, you're not used to wearing this stuff. Wear it every day while you're on the phone doing your sales calls. That way, when we get to the sales table, you don't look like you're uncomfortable.
I gotta say, I like this guy's glasses.
I like his outfit. That's cool. It's like a white outfit with like
veiny kind of
black and red, like veiny,
very Jackson Pollock
paint splatters over it. It's pretty neat. Oh God, those people.
Is that guy wearing like snowboarding boots?
Is that guy? Here's the more important question: did Iggy Pop dye his hair black?
I feel like Iggy Pop looks better than that guy.
Oh God, that's terrible. That looks like our cousin.
Winona Ryder.
That? Winona Ryder. Yeah. I was like, oh shit, I know who that is. Winona Ryder. So here you go. So here's another way where I saw like people on Rumble talking about this shit. Like this installation, which is not Abramovich's, parents had their kids with them, and they brought them through this.
Oh God!
Are you exposing your children to nudity? So for anybody who's just listening, that's an image of naked women holding fruit with their bodies painted different colors. Yeah. They are admittedly unclothed, and people were walking their kids through the installation. Heaven forbid. All right, let's go to the next tab.
This is the next tab.
All right, go to the next tab.
Okay.
There's Gwen Stefani. Now, if you look at the body in the background, it's mutilated. Holy shit. This is evidence that they are eating people and sucking the adrenochrome out of children. Except, wait a second, it's a fucking cake that a very professional baker made for Abramovich to look like a human body, and it has a mannequin head on it. And this is after they ate it, and it's supposed to look like a mutilated corpse.
Yeah, because,
Hey, can I ask, what's the point of art? Is art supposed to be an exclamation point or a question mark? Or as Aleister Crowley would say in the Book of Lies, and I'm not doing much for my point here to associate myself with Aleister Crowley, is it the hunchback or the soldier? The question
or
mark...
truth, for that matter, if you're
or the
going with the Book
exclamation.
of Lies.
Exactly. But I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. There are certain things these assholes are saying that are 100% true. They're just miscontextualizing it utterly. Because of the framework, the lenses that they're looking at the world through.
So, in response to this photo in particular, I would like to say...
Gwen Stefani.
No, not about Gwen Stefani.
Oh, okay.
I recently saw a meme on a Facebook group that I'm on that's called The Sarcastic Atheist,
Yeah.
where somebody did a birth announcement cake,
Okay.
where it was a woman's stomach with her arms holding it, and they cut it open.
And there was a baby inside?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
To announce the gender of the.
I was a little
fetus, yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
You see the look of concern on
Yeah.
my face. I never heard of that before, but honestly, that's kind of a neat idea.
Sure, I'm not against it, but my point is, this is no less innocuous than this. It's just
No
a cake,
more innocuous than this, you meant.
whichever way. It
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
I got you. Or I might be wrong there. All right, next. Gwen Stefani is a Satanist.
Well, what you waiting for?
All right, this one's awesome. So this looks like a real person. I'm pretty sure it is because of an installation that I watched a video from that I'm going to show you in a few moments. This is a real person. It's a nude woman lying on a table, surrounded by other people eating dinner, a circular table, completely surrounded by people eating dinner. And she's laying down in the middle, completely nude, with a faux skeleton laying on top of her in the same position, while people are eating food. Okay? So just, keep these images in your head. We can talk about what they mean in a moment.
I like the fact that they're all dressed like really conservative Jedi.
They're all dressed like doctors. That's what it's supposed to be, I think.
Oh, is it?
White knee-length
just the way that they have it like folded over. Oh yeah, you're right. They do have collars.
It's
That's
medical.
interesting,
Yeah, they have lapels. It's medical. What do you
Interesting.
call that? Medical. The white things that doctors
I have
wear.
no idea.
Medical.
Nurses wear scrubs.
Yeah,
I don't know what the
I
code's
forget.
called.
I forget.
But yeah, so that's fun.
That's fun.
Next.
All right, so here is a performance art piece. It's a photograph of Abramovic sitting on top of a mountain of cow bones, trying to scrub the blood off the bones, which is absolutely impossible.
Oh, sure.
And she's just making herself bloody doing it. She said she did this somewhere in Italy, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Venice, I believe. And it was very hot. It was in the summer. There were maggots crawling out of this pile. It smelled terrible. And she's kind of like, part of her performance is endurance, a lot of it. Which is why
Obviously with a knife and all
David
that.
Blaine, which is why David Blaine took an interest in her, not because he's a Satanist, guys, but because he also likes to do performance art pieces where physical endurance is a huge part of it. So this was something that she did for like a few days, 8 hours a day, just scrubbing bloody cow bones. 8 hours a day for 3 days straight. Okay? So a large part of her performances have to do with endurance, especially in her early career, but also her recent retrospective. So let's look at the next tab. All right.
Let's
go to the first video. Yeah, just show the first video, man. All right, full screen. All right, Marina Abramovic, spirit cooking. There's the bucket of blood. There's them pouring more blood into the bucket. And here's her writing her recipes. I know. The funny thing is,
mixed fresh breast milk.
The funny thing is 28 years ago, doesn't look a lot different. I'm going to get to that. Mix fresh breast milk with fresh sperm milk. Written in pig's blood on the wall.
Sperm milk, not a thing. Drink on earthquake nights?
So, in other words, it's supposed to be comfort food.
I feel like her message is being lost on me.
I'll get you there. I have a whole concept of this shit. I'll get you there. If I don't get you there, I will describe what I'm thinking adequately enough. Let's put it that way. Alright, skip ahead a little bit. Just scroll along the bar slowly. Put the cursor over the bar. Keep going. Slowly. I want to show something. Okay, right there. So there are not only blood in the bucket, but guts. Look at how terrifying this is. Look at the organs trying to come out of the bucket.
I think it's just gelatinized blood.
Is it just gelatinized blood? I don't know. It looks like it should have had a cap on it. I love it.
I feel like that's just gelatinized blood.
Alright, we can stop this video. Now, she also has wax human beings in the corners that are about, how tall would you say that is? 2 3 feet?
Yeah, 2 feet.
2 feet, and she splashes blood on them, and everybody looks at this and goes, "Those wax figures represent children. She's obviously a pedophile." Yeah. So, okay. Knock this video off. Hit back. Let me see if there's anything else on this YouTube page I wanna show real quick. This is just fun to me because this takes me back, and I was 4 years old during the height of the Satanic Panic, but I read about all this shit in the 90s.
Sure.
In the 90s,
Right.
I read Michelle Remembers. Oh, here's another thing. Go up. So here's a video of her giving a lecture about her work. Go down a little bit. To the Rothschild Foundation. And this is further proof of her globalist connections, wherein with we can discern.
Marina
You don't have to
Abramovic
play it. You don't have to play it.
One of the most important figures currently in the art world.
You don't have to play it.
She,
Wherein which we can discern just from the fact that she did this, that she's tied to the elites, and the elites are all blood-sucking pedophile Satanists.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Okay. So, where were we? The Rothschild Foundation, go down. Let me see if there's anything else. Satan's children. See that? No, go up. Look at that Satan's children thing. Keep your mouse on it. See the font that they're using?
Oh yeah.
This takes me right back to the 1980s.
Oh no, I gotcha.
Okay, keep going down. A warrior performance artist or what? Oh, okay, keep going. Let me see if there's anything else. Violent Genius, Lady Gaga, Columbia's Temple of Lucifer. Okay, we're done with this. Go to the Rumble search results. Okay, show this one. This is beautiful. I love this. Yeah, go ahead.
Switching to clean nicotine doesn't have to be complicated or
And then-
Advertisement.
Yeah, when you can make it full screen.
I'm not seeing a full screen on this.
Yeah, that's a commercial.
Okay.
They always do in 2. That's why our Rumble channel has made 2 cents.
Hey.
So this is that art benefit that I was showing you photographs from previously. So this is the actual vibe, okay? What does this look like to you? This looks like rich art aficionados and their families having a good time.
Yeah.
Obviously, proof of Satanism because kids are looking at nude people with flowers painted
And
on
that
their
woman
bodies.
has red wings. Yeah.
There was a mannequin that looked like a corpse hanging from a chain with blood on it.
That guy looks sad.
A guy with dirty hands sitting in a corner. A performance artist that looks like he's hanging with blood on him once again. Or black liquid.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was great.
That was funny. Oh look, the kids are having fun too on the things. But no, that is laying them out for sacrifice. Just a bunch of rich hipsters. I mean, this is what it looks like to me.
Bunch of rich douchebags.
Now, pause it for a second. I participated in something called Nude Night Philadelphia. Okay, you remember going to me with me to that. Okay.
I thought it was in Florida.
Yeah, but the one that I went in most recently was in Philadelphia. Now, you walk around this thing. It's a performance art space as well as I'm a painter, so
I wept.
They had a at the one in Florida you did. So let's talk about the one in Florida. So imagine that for some reason I'm famous, and I'm an out and out Satanist. I'm an out and out Satanist. I don't hide the fact. Okay.
He only eats children if they consent.
Their adrenochrome smells delicious. Now, we went to the Nude Night Festival in Tampa, Florida. I think it was Tampa. And I had a couple paintings in this show. And they were nude paintings. And it's a little different than something called The Dirty Show. So the curator of this show, if you have work that's outright pornographic, she's like, it's not appropriate for our show.
Yeah.
But there's this other show called The Dirty Show. Hit them up. So these guys are in cahoots, but she would just be like, it's not appropriate for our show.
Yeah.
But my stuff is simple nudes. Like my nude stuff is just simple nudes. It's not pornographic. So I got into this show very easily. And we went down there. And how would you describe it? It was like a big warehouse with like colored lights, and there's a bar.
It had a very carnival kind of feeling to it.
Almost like New Orleans or something.
Yeah.
There were drag queens walking around in crazy makeup.
There were nude models who were posing in boxes with frames in front of them.
And you could take
like
pictures of them. And they were one woman, I remember, really pretty girl standing on top of the corner of the bar with like gauze sort of things. It was very sheer. And she was like playing with the fabric around her naked body. And she was posing every so often when she felt like she hit a good pose so you could take a picture of her. And you're surrounded by art that glorifies nudity in the human body. And then they had stage performances where one of the performances was this excellent burlesque dancer who was supposed to be Shiva, and she had like a rig on her back where anytime she lifted up her arms, it was not 2 arms, it was 6 arms. There were 2 arms beneath her real arms.
Yeah.
So that the other 2 arms attached to each of her real arms would mimic what she was doing with her real arms. And I don't even think she was naked. She had like a
No, she wasn't. Yeah, she wasn't even exposed at the chest or anything.
So imagine I'm famous and somebody finds out that we went there. We were involved in a satanic ritual.
Well, of course, obviously. I've been involved in those kind of rituals numerous times, judging by the amount of art shows I've fucking been to.
Now, here's the thing. I admit to being involved in satanic rituals. All the time. But it's basically me in a room. Nothing to do with anybody else. I do not, and there are Satanists that enjoy doing group practice, but I don't want to. I that's something very personal and very.
Yeah, I feel like I'm one of the few people you've engaged with.
You're one of the only. There's maybe 4. Yeah. But if we went to that show, be like, it's a mass satanic ritual.
Yeah,
of course. And Alex Jones, what are they trying to say? We're the woman Shiva, and they're glorifying sex, and
sex
there's nudity, and parents are bringing their children to this sort of sex and death. Yeah. Exactly, sex and death. Interesting. So, you closed that?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't done with that yet. That's okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. So
I just felt like
no, that wasn't the end of it.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, is there a way to bring that back up real quick in history? Go to the 3 dots.
Maybe recently closed.
3 dots history. Yeah, and it's going to be like the Rumble page. Yeah, I wasn't done with that yet. Devil's Heaven, 2013. Go ahead and play it. And then skip ahead after the advertisement. Skip ahead to where we were.
Like hard. Hard? Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? They're controlling the weather, which, by the way, they are.
I feel like Jesus is the only
Okay.
one who can control the weather.
Here's the spirit cooking. So you walk through this alleyway in the woods where you're on either side of the pathway are people singing in long white gowns. And you get to the altar, which is the spirit cooking, which looks like a live human performer, half immersed in like syrup or something. And through the woods, there are nude people dancing with trees and body paint. Oh dear Lord, how satanic! Here's a guy trying to jump off a leash attached to his shoulders, keeps failing. It's performance art. This is silly. There's a guy in a t-shirt and little angel wings chanting. And there's a woman pretending she's flying and screeching like a fucking bird.
I feel like this guy is just trying to make his bong work.
Trying to make what?
His bong work. It's like, how do I work hard every day?
It does kind of look like a bong. He's striking a big, weird stick on a box. It looks like a bong. This is cool. Check this out. So she bounces on furniture in a pool of water. This is really neat. I like this. Look, watch. Did you get that? Like, oh my god!
Nah, I hear you.
You know, that's cool.
But yeah, it's
This
rich
is all right. So here's a guy. It's a mannequin. You can tell in a
rich people doing rich people
in a
shit.
tuxedo with a vent over his head that blows giant bubbles. Oh look, little children looking at naked people.
How dare
Oh
children
no!
understand what human anatomy is?
Ruined for life. They're never. Pause
They'll
it.
never recover.
Pause it. They're never going to be able to worship a dead half-naked Jew hanging from a piece of wood if you expose them to pleasure.
Hey, he wasn't Jewish by the end of it. He was Christian.
What's the poem? Roses are reddish, violets are bluish. If it wasn't for Jesus, we'd all be Jewish.
Exactly.
Go ahead. Yeah,
But
so,
yeah, it's just
so rich
rich
people
douches
doing
being rich
rich
douches.
people things. All right, I think we're done with this.
Yeah. That's all it is. It's just rich people.
Oh, here's the auction and the dinner. Yeah, we're done with this. We're done. That's all I wanted to show.
People doing rich people shit.
Exactly. Yeah, there's Lady Gaga again. And everybody's, well, he skipped over the part where there was a guy wearing devil horns. Yeah, I saw it. It doesn't bother me. Happy Halloween, motherfucker. Okay, so that's it. So knowing that the right wing is so, and Alex Jones especially, is so up in arms over this bitch, I've already given you my take fundamentally that this is art. It's performance art. It's meant to be
And performance art is inherently silly.
It's meant to be a question mark. It's not meant to be a statement. It's meant to make you feel something. It's not telling you what to think. It's opening up avenues of your consciousness where you're like, I feel strange about this. Why do I feel that way?
Why are my nipples so hard? Also my penis.
What cultural norms are being tested here? Make you think about why you feel a certain thing. But nobody who's covering this lady in the little red bubble I found myself in is questioning why they feel what they feel.
Oh no,
they're just feeling something.
They know what to feel, which is terror and apprehension, and that she needs to be probably nailed to a cross, I would assume.
I assume. Well, that might be too good for her.
Well, because the cross is so special.
You have to make it like an upside down cross. Like, what's that fucking guy's name?
Oh,
in the
Jesus,
Bible?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Not Jesus.
There were so many crosses that were used on the apostles.
Yeah.
But you know what? So the funny thing to me with this entire
Tell me
thing,
what you think of this, because you have no idea about this conspiracy theory.
none at all.
I've just introduced you to this artist and this conspiracy theory. So tell me what you think.
I love it. And the reason why I love it is because I like to think that when I lay in a bathtub, drenched in syrup, because I'm just having a bad day and pancakes sounded like a good idea.
And hey, you got enough money, you got to do something with
that
it.
I am forwarding the New World Order. You know, like it's good to know that even in my dark moments where I'm just drenched in fucking pancake syrup in a bathtub, that I'm doing the Lord's work, Ralph's work. Yeah.
I gotta pee. We're gonna be right back.
We won't be right back because we are dead in a bathtub full of syrup. So I'm not trying to be a provocateur in any way, shape, or form. But my question to anybody who sees this as some kind of satanic ritual is, have you been to church lately?
Especially at Catholic Mass.
Yeah, if you're Catholic, transubstantiation is the miracle by which, when you eat that cracker and drink that wine, that literally becomes blood and flesh.
Harry and I were talking about this while we were watching this last night. This is basically a more pagan version of modern and pagan version of the communion ritual.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing is like, if you are disturbed by this and you think that this is some kind of evidence of a satanic cabal that is taking over our country, have you heard of Christianity? Because let me tell you, Christianity might be right for you.
Well, there's a really good scene in Valhalla Rising.
Yeah,
such a beautiful,
with
beautiful movie.
Mads Mikkelsen is the actor.
Where the pagans, it takes place, I think, in the Highlands during a time where Christianity is taking over the pagan tribes.
It's a very weird art film.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to the non-audience. It's a very weird art film that is very good. It's got Mads Mikkelsen in one of his early American roles. I don't think the film was American, but he is just... Mads Mikkelsen's fucking phenomenal. So just check it out if you're into art films.
It's not, I wouldn't even call it an art film. It's definitely watchable. There's just not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, it's very...
largely silent.
Yeah.
But if you like music, I mean, the score is beautiful.
Jesus, yeah.
And the cinematography is fantastic. So it's not something that's going to... it's not...
There's no plot.
It's not no. There's a plot.
Well, but
it's
you
not.
know what
It's
I mean.
It's not an endurance contest to watch. So when you say art film, most people cringe. They're like, "Oh, that's going to be tough to watch." It's not tough. It's beautiful.
No, I don't mean to imply that at all.
That's why I said it.
It's a gorgeous film with great actors.
Okay, so anyway, there's a wonderful quote. It takes place, I believe, in the Highlands during the time where the Christian churches are starting to take over the pagan tribes. And there's a quote where they're talking about the Christian invasion. And he goes, "Did you hear about these Christians?" I don't know why I'm doing a Russian accent. We'll just keep it going. "Did you hear about these Christians? They eat their God and they drink his blood. What are these people?" Hey, good fucking point, man.
Well, and that's the entire
Good
thing
point.
is like looking at this conceptual performance art and sitting there and being like, oh, well, it's obvious evidence of a satanic cabal that's in our government because this performance artist who happens to have aged well.
I'm going to get to that too. But I hear what you're saying. Go ahead.
But it's like, who happens to... Well, this is obvious. Like, this is like fucking... let them eat cake kind of shit, where like that wasn't even something that Marie Antoinette said. Like,
yeah, but history is just his story.
Exactly,
It's just a story.
And the funny thing is if you're offended by anyone doing anything with blood or flesh that is being portrayed in any kind of spiritual way, please stop going to church.
Look at the
fucking...
Yeah, exactly.
Stop thinking the way you think because you're stupid.
Look at Tibetan sky burials.
Yeah.
You know about that, right?
Or Viking funerals.
The Tibetans, they have a few different funeral rites that they do. If you do a sky funeral, what they do is they dress the body in a white robe and they leave it in the corner of the house for 5 to 9 days, during which the family stops working so that the spirit can transfer from the body to wherever it's going. I'm not super familiar with that belief.
Sure.
Without being distracted by day-to-day life. And it gives the family an opportunity to mourn. Then what they do is they take the body, remove the dressings, and they leave it on the top of a hill, and they let vultures eat it. And that's called the sky funeral in Tibet. So
I don't know anything about this, but I'm assuming you're right.
I'm right. I looked it up because the spirit cooking was influenced by Tibetan.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, it's being eaten. Marilyn Manson's album, and I'm not making a great case to say she's not a Satanist on purpose because I have a point to make. But Marilyn Manson's album, which was not well received, "Eat Me, Drink Me," and in an interview with it, he said, I think that's the most romantic thing that can happen to you after you die is to have somebody that you love consume you. And if you look at the book, I think it's Blood Canticle, Anne Rice, when Maheret is the oldest living vampire, and her origin story, one of the oldest living vampires. I'm familiar
with their origin.
The origin story is their mother died because the Queen of Egypt didn't like that they were going to eat their mother died, they were going to eat their dead mother, and as was their custom, the funerary rite. So they were twins. They had to eat their dead mother. The Queen of Egypt said that was sacrosanct, and because what they were doing was so brutal, she murdered everybody. That's basically Christian thinking right there. Hey, we don't like what you're doing. That's terrible. So we're gonna
need to die.
We're gonna kill you all now. And in the Old Testament especially, God does the same thing. On that point, good point. So a biblical scholar made the point that the New Testament is even more violent than the Old Testament. You want to hear the point?
Yeah, I'm curious because I don't feel that way, but go ahead.
Which is worse, to slaughter an entire nation or to condemn somebody to hell for eternity?
Didn't the Old Testament also do that?
Nope. That's New Testament.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
Pretty wild.
So
I just, as an aside, that was an aside. Okay?
Yeah, but
just a funny point.
Sure, but real quick.
It was like a half joke.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let it go.
Okay, thank you.
I won't litigate it.
Thank you. Yeah, good word. Yeah, please don't. It was just a half joke. Okay. So anyway, so this is part of being a human being.
Well, it's an abstract representation of what everybody goes through. And the funny thing is that with it being polarized through this lens of, oh, well, this person's a Satanist who is trying. It's like, you guys, like, you fuckers, you people are like, hey, this is evil. Now let's drink the blood of our savior. We're going to wear around our necks a pendant that portrays his murderous death.
Kind of like wearing a little noose around your neck or a little electric chair pendant. Now, here's an interesting thing I want to bring up real quick. Another aside, okay?
Sure.
Nick Cave. Okay? His wife.
Love Nick Cave.
His wife has a website, I think it's called The Witch's Wife, where she makes jewelry. And one of the necklaces is a little golden electric chair. I was like, that's directly from the Satanic Bible. Jesus
it's Christ. Also from Nick Cave's song.
That's what it's called. The Mercy Seat.
The Mercy Seat.
It's called, the pendant is called the Mercy Seat.
And anybody who likes really deep lyrical music, check out the Mercy Seat by Nick Cave.
We are recording, right?
Yeah.
All right, you're pretty drunk. Just want to make sure. Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay. So, good point. Now, this is what it is to be human. And I've made this point on previous podcasts. I think the reason why most human beings, when a survey is taken, will say, I do not have an internal dialogue and I do not dream. I think that's for one very special reason. I think it's fear of death. Death is a part of the human experience.
I think fear is a large motivating factor in anybody who doesn't want to be introspective.
Yeah. But I think that specifically internal monologue or even dialogue and dreaming, if you're so afraid of death and you're so control that you're so obsessed with control, that's going to keep the filter on in your mind. And that's why I think that we are a species that is enslaved. I don't want to get too deep into that. Anyway, now I found all of these art pieces extremely beautiful and telling.
I found them interesting, at least. Yeah.
I'm not 100% a fan of everything Abramovic has done, but the spirit cooking and especially her retrospective at the MoMA was beautiful. Now, here's what she did at the MoMA, and I told you that she is a huge part of a lot of her performance art is endurance.
Yeah.
So, what she did, she sat herself down in the lobby of the MoMA. The whole MoMA is taken up with videos of her performance art, a retrospective of her career. But in the lobby, she's sitting in a chair, and there's an empty seat across from her. And she's sitting there with her eyes closed. You wait online. You can sit in the chair across from her. And the show is called The Artist is Present. And when she sees that you're there, she raises her head and makes eye contact with you for as long as you sit there.
Oh, I would have loved to be there because I would have just stared. And I tested this. I can keep my eyes open for a minimum of 15 minutes.
But let me get on track here.
It would have been, my point is,
she blinks. Fun, yeah. It's not a staring contest.
Oh, well, that would have been fun, though.
It's just people, two strangers making eye contact with each other, which builds a connection. It's a real human connection. And Harry watched this video with me. I mean, it looked like half the people within a few minutes broke down crying. And the really interesting thing is, whenever somebody was in front of Abramovic that started crying, what do you think she started doing immediately?
Probably crying.
Crying. She did this for 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for 3 months.
No, that's crazy.
3 months. And Harry, what did I say that she was doing?
Stealing energy.
Stealing energy.
Sure, it's a rock performance.
Now, it's not just a rock performance. That's a base level thing. I'm saying...
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And in that way, too, I'm agreeing. But on a personal, one-on-one level, building a connection, an emotional connection that's undescribed intelligently with random strangers, 6 days a week, 8 hours a day for 3 months... Just an intuitive, emotional connection with random strangers, day in, day out, hours on end, sitting in this fucking chair. And one-on-one, in order to be able to have that amount of endurance, here's my point. And there were a couple of people from a local Buddhist temple that came to witness this, because they understand the presence of mind. The presence, the mindfulness type of meditation that you have to do in order to prepare yourself for something like this. And here's why I said, I know what she's doing. I don't know if she knows it. I'm thinking she probably does, because of a lot of the art that she does. It speaks to this. I think she knows she's robbing energy. She's building up a connection with other people intimately, without words, simply through the eyes, simply by the fact that she, because of the meditative practices that she has had to do to prepare herself for this, she is present in the moment. She's used to being observed by a large audience. Anybody sitting across from her? Most likely not. They're not going to be present. They're not going to be present.
But in all honesty,
they're going to be distracted.
But that's why it would be fun for me. Like, I get that I was making the joke of a staring contest or whatever, but it's like, it would actually be really interesting. Like, I'd love to engage with an artist on that level.
If I was there, I would have done it.
Yeah, I would have sat in that chair and I would have refused to move until somebody moved me.
Well, you only have 8 hours if you're the first person.
That's what I'm saying. I would have sat there and I would have been like, I would have waited online overnight to be the first person there.
Well, here's the thing.
And just sat there and
a lot
just
of people
stared at
did.
it.
There were people camped out in front of this place because everybody's having such a huge reaction to this.
Well, but that's what
and
I'm
isn't
saying.
this?
I wouldn't be doing it to break her or something.
No. That's
I would
not
be
the
doing
thing.
it to fully engage.
To fully engage. So people did, and that's why. And when I was watching this documentary, which I believe is on HBO, is where I watched it. If you do a search for The Artist is Present, there's a documentary on it and the retrospective at the MoMA. I think it's on HBO streaming, which is now called Max.
Max.
But it reminded me of the thing that you told me about where you went to that thing that the musician and artist Amanda Palmer did, where you could go into a dark closet with her and she would spoon you for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Just like that sense of connection and comfort that the world strips away from us slowly but surely.
Yeah, it was like a weird artistic reinterpretation of the teenage game 7 Minutes in Heaven, where like you go into a closet with somebody and make out with them, but it wasn't sexualized.
Right.
You know?
So she would take you into a closet
just
as a
intimate,
random fan, close the door, I'm assuming total darkness.
Yeah.
And she was the big spoon, I'm assuming. Or you could do it either way.
I think you could kind of do it either way, yeah.
Interesting. Now, one of the most interesting things that speaking of who's the big spoon, one of the most interesting thing that Abramovic did in her early career is she stood up and was completely still. And everybody entered the room, and she had a bunch of shit laid out on a table. And the rule was for 8 hours, you guys get to do whatever you want to me using these tools. Here was the things. Feather, whipped cream, markers, whip, surgical scalpel, gun, bullet. Yeah. I don't know how she got this past whatever gallery and the insurance. It might have been like a thing where there's no pin. I don't know. But here's what happened.
I would assume that it was that.
Here's what happened. Everybody stood around for 6 hours not doing anything, just watching her stand there. After 6 hours, people started writing on her, people started using the feather, people started experimenting and realizing, oh, she's not doing anything. Then they used the scalpel to tear her clothes off. Somebody used the scalpel to cut her neck and they drank her blood. They started carving things into her flesh. There were roses with thorns. They took the roses and they stuck the thorns in her stomach so that they stayed on her stomach. One person in the audience loaded the gun and pointed it at her head. Another audience member ripped it out of his hand and they got in a fight. They started whipping her, beating her. And after 8 hours, when time was up, all of a sudden she stops doing like, I'm your toy. She comes back to herself and she starts walking towards this group of like 30, 50 people. Guess what they all did?
Ran.
Every single one. What does that tell you about human nature?
Oh no, it's terrifying.
Jesus Christ. So is she telling you something about Satan? Or is she telling you something about yourself?
She's telling you something about Satan because you are.
She's telling you something. She's showing you herself. She's your mirror.
Again, royal you.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
She's your mirror. She's present. You are not. You are a reactionary animal to novel stimulation. Sitting in front of somebody making eye contact as long as you want. Nobody does that. You're an animal that is reacting rather than thinking.
So
reacting to novel stimulation. She is present. She becomes the mirror of you. when you start crying, she starts crying during the artist is present thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
whether or not she knows it, and I think she does, she is an energy vampire. And aside from the obvious nip tucks, I mean, look at her neck. It's 77. She doesn't even have that fucking thing that I already have at 43.
Turkey neck.
Well, I get this pit when I lose weight. And I know she's a little chunky, but at 77, you should fucking have that. You know what I mean? Like the pit over your clavicle.
Yeah, it's
She looks way too young. Way too young.
so here I guess is my question
She practices
to you.
presence of mind.
So here's my question to you, and I can answer first if you want, because I
Sure.
know exactly what I would do. If you were presented with that situation, if you were there at that art show, what would
Which
you
one?
do to her? Where she had all the tools and everything laid out, and like, hey, do whatever you want to me for these 8 hours.
Oh,
What would you do?
I don't know. I've never been in that situation, but so speaking of what I would want to do in my heart,
Yeah.
here's what my heart would want. I would want to see her battered and used, and then right before the end of the show, I would be the last. Here's what I would want. I would be the last person that does anything to her. I would just walk up to her and give her a kiss on the cheek and hold her head in my hands, and then walk away.
So
That's what I would want to do.
So I definitely would draw on her just because she's an artist, and I would want to sit there and do something that was artistic on her flesh.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? The ultimate thing I would do after that is, like, if I was given like the full, like, whatever I can do thing, I would have just held her. Like, it would have been wonderful to sit there and
Exactly.
and just wrap my arms around her and cradle my chin into her neck.
I would
and
have
just hold her.
I would have wanted to do it, and I said the same thing, but I would have wanted to do it at her most vulnerable place.
Yeah, when she's at the apex of the situation. Yeah.
That's energy.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying there's not an exchange. The reason why I think she's drawing energy is because she remains present in the moment, and everybody else is simply reacting to novel situations that she's presenting them. And that's the trick.
Well, and I think that's the fun thing about just holding her for a while, is that it's creating something that is in the moment but exists outside of it. Like that's the funny thing that her performance art to me is doing is the immortality of having presence outside of the moment while being in it.
Exactly.
You always remember.
Exactly. What'd you just say? Say it again.
The
immortality of having presence outside the moment while being
in it,
simultaneously in it. That's what I've been saying all along. That's the whole fucking immortality argument that I'm making. Is to be everything, but experience being everything through the perspective of an individuated being is ecstasy. And Aleister Crowley said it best. We are made separate for the possibility of the joy of union.
And that's why I would draw on her first and then just hold her.
In
Because
order to
the
that would be tough, because in order to draw from somebody, you have to be more present than they are.
draw on her.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I
thought you meant feed on her energy.
No, I would have made art on her body and then just held her.
Now, I gotcha. To be a part of the giving and then the receiving.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Most people there, I guarantee you, that energy flow, they felt like they were in control the whole time because she gave it to them. But I guarantee you, for most of the people at that performance, the energy flow went one way. It was out of them and into her. And that's why she looks like she's fucking 50 and she's 77. I guarantee you that bitch is going to be 120 before she dies.
But that's,
what an incredible person.
But that's the thing to me, is like, that's why I would have wanted to do it that way, is because, like,
yeah, I got what you're saying.
Yeah, well, just, for the non-audience.
For our neighbor, it's going to be like, what the fuck are they talking about? I can't even fall asleep
Who
to
are
this.
these maniacs?
I can't even fall asleep to this.
It's okay. So, if you just sit there and think about the fact,
Dude, don't talk to him directly too much, because he's going to come over here and be like, dude, what the fuck? I didn't want to be a part of the show.
But no,
you do have like 60 to 100 people watching every week.
But no, I mean, like, to me, that's the interesting part of that kind of performance art, is like, anybody who's like, I'm not going to judge anybody for sitting there and pushing thorns into her or whipping her or anything like that.
I don't
like,
judge, no.
But
It's expected.
I wouldn't do that.
And she gave them the opportunity.
Yeah, but like, again, it's the thing that we brought up in the other podcast, or I brought up in the other podcast, about how, like, power doesn't corrupt you, it just exposes you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you give me absolute power over you.
Yeah, good point. I remember that, yeah.
I'm going to sit there and I'm going to leave my mark on you in a way that doesn't hurt you, and then I'm going to let you leave your mark on me so that I can carry you with me.
Mm-hmm. So, and at one more point before I make another point that I want to make. During the artist is present, where she's making eye contact with random people for as long as they want.
Yeah.
There were people that tried to turn that into their own art performance piece.
Oh, so she had, like, counter performers, kind of?
She had somebody that put a picture of, like, a dying pig as a mask over his head while he's sitting in front of her. There was another chick who, as soon as she got to the chair, she just ripped off all her clothes. Yeah. And
I'm trying to evoke a reaction.
Security immediately removed them. And it's not because what you're doing is wrong. It's because you're taking something that's supposed to be a shared experience, and now you're making it all about you. So we see what the energy is there. Knock it off.
Yeah.
Knock it off. Just be cool. Have the experience.
Be cool, bro.
Have the experience that she's willing to offer you, and stop making it about your own ego aggrandizement.
Not to be, like, really weirdly PC about this, but it actually kind of makes a statement about consent.
Yes. But sometimes people consent and they say they... never mind. Let's not go.
Oh, no, I wasn't trying to turn it into a thing. I was just saying, like, it actually makes an interesting statement.
Well, there's an energy dynamic.
Yeah.
And if you're being cool, you know you're being cool.
Yeah.
And if you're not being cool, you know you're not being
exactly.
cool.
It's like, and to me, that's the whole thing about people like, oh, well, where are the lines between what rape
a
is?
lot of the people
like,
that were involved in the
know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you know. Somebody's shit-faced, like Amy Schumer raped that guy. You know. He's shit-faced. But I don't think it's rape. Because he's a guy. Honestly. Unless he really doesn't want to get laid. But if you have a drunk chick and you fuck her, I don't care how much she's begging for it. If you're not drunk and she is, that is rape. Here's why. There's an energy dynamic. What is good for the goose is not necessarily good for the gander. Okay? There's a dynamic. And you have to be cognizant of that dynamic. It's different. So, I mean, just be cool. Yeah. But a lot of people involved in the Me Too movement, like Johnny Depp's fucking girlfriend, Amber Heard.
So that's a different can of worms.
Being cool. You're making this thing that is going to do a lot of women a lot of good, and you're taking over the performance. You're making it all about you to get ahead. Fuck you. How dare you?
They had a very, very terrible fucking relationship.
Absolutely.
And that's the whole thing, is to frame
There were a lot of bad actors in the Me Too movement, is my point. Not specifically going into Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. There were a lot of...
Just to be diplomatic, I don't want to say a lot, but there are definitely some.
I didn't even say most. I just said a lot.
I know, I just said to be diplomatic.
All right. So, yeah, you're going to take that energy that's happening, or somebody's offering you for an experience or to get some justice, and you're going to weaponize it in such a way that you're going to make it all about you and what you want and getting ahead. Hey, knock it off. We can all see what you're doing. I mean, we're living in an age where most people's bullshit detectors are ramped way up. We're evolving. Stop. We know what you're doing. Doesn't matter how you intellectualize it afterward. I can see what you're doing. Stop it. You know what I mean?
And in particular with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, it's like, it was just so transparent that it was just this toxic relationship.
Oh yeah, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I didn't even get too involved in it. I just heard podcasts that I listened to were talking about it all the time, so I was like, aha, that's funny. You know, they would show clips from the trial and everything.
The funny thing about that is, like, obviously Johnny Depp's in the wrong. But she's also in the wrong. It's like, you people are psychopaths. Get your shit together. Like, it wasn't like Weinstein or shit like that. You know,
The power dynamic was totally split.
And on top of that, it's like, yeah, no, he had more power than her, but it's like, you're being a fucking maniac.
Well, if he had more power than her, he was not using most of it because the dynamic in that
addict.
Dynamic in that was split. I mean, it was, in my opinion. Anyway, so then, because I went down a little artistic rabbit hole last night. I was like, what's the most controversial shit? I love Shia.
Okay.
And I love Maddie Ziegler.
The girl who, for anybody who doesn't know, danced.
The chandelier video, the little girl, she's from Dance Moms. That's where she got her start, the reality television show. I know. I went into a deep dive on her last night too. I was up for hours just looking at shit I found interesting. So I've always liked those videos.
I was just being a pirate.
I know. That's cool. Hey man, you do you. So, you know, I was looking into Maddie Ziegler, and I love the chandelier video. I think it's gorgeous. And I also love the Elastic Heart video that they did with Shia LaBeouf. And I don't care what Shia LaBeouf's fucking problems are. He's got a lot of problems. Okay, but
he's a weird dude.
I love that video. And it speaks to me in a way where I'm like, you know, inner child, wolf, monster, whatever she's portraying moment to moment switches, but it's always his other. And he's trying to partner with that disparate part of himself that keeps changing.
That isn't what he needs, but he is sitting there and trying to adapt to it because he wants it.
Keeps changing characters. You need the inner part of yourself. You need your own demonic.
But I guess maybe I phrased it incorrectly, but like, because I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen the video?
No.
Oh, you should watch that. Okay, good. We'll watch it after.
Yeah, sure. But no, what I was saying is that, like, if you're going to have something like that where there's a dynamic between two different characters and the one character keeps changing, the other keeps changing to adapt, to me that is almost like an addiction concept. It's sitting there and trying to portray that this isn't good for you, but you just, like, whatever it does, no matter how much it shows you it's bad for you, you keep trying to get it.
Good point. Yeah, so basically, Maddie...
That's how I take it.
Good point. I like that. So, then... and Shia has also been accused of being part of the Satanic Elite because she's obviously a pedophile because she has an 11-year-old Maddie Ziegler dancing around in a flesh-colored leotard.
Yeah, and Lady Gaga.
Which is just meant to. Yeah. I don't want a costume that distracts.
Lady Gaga's got a dick,
and so does Obama's wife.
Yeah, Michelle.
So, but here's the concept artistically, people, of a flesh-colored leotard: is we don't want you to be distracted by costume. That's it.
Yeah,
we're
portraying nudity without the distraction of nudity.
Without nudity, there's no nudity, but we don't want you to be distracted. We want you to see the fullness of the human form while still not doing nudity. That's all it is.
Yeah, because nudity itself can be a distraction.
Her dancing, and also it's illegal. She's 11.
Well, sure.
Her dancing is...
ask Brooke Shields' parents.
But, you know, also at Nude Night, some of that dancing that they did on stage was so gorgeous, but I was, as a heterosexual man, distracted by a lot of the nudity.
Oh, sure. The guys on stage were great.
I said heterosexual.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
That's okay. So what the flesh-colored leotard does is it offers up as minimal distraction as possible from the human form so that you can appreciate the dance. And her dancing is fucking amazing.
Oh, amazing.
Gorgeous.
Talented.
Gorgeous.
As fuck.
So there's a movie that Shia wrote and produced called Music. Maddie Ziegler stars in it at the age of, I believe, 14, where she plays a nonverbal autistic girl. Do you see where that's going? Do you see where that's going?
Not entirely, but I could guess.
The amount of backlash these two bitches got for this. I watched a movie last night. I wasn't blown away by it, but I thought everybody in it did a great job. Honestly, Who's the fucking actress that plays opposite of Maddie as her older half sister? I want to get the name right.
You know, say.
I know you don't know. I'm gonna look it up. Oh, I didn't keep the tab open. Music
Makes the people
movie
come together.
Sia.
Music.
So the autistic girl's name is Music. That's why it makes it difficult to look up.
I gotcha.
So you say Music Sia, you're just gonna get like her music.
Yeah.
Like bad marketing, first of all.
Oh, I have a big beef with
Kate
people.
Hudson.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I
Yeah,
was going
big
to say I have a big beef with people who name things that are very difficult to search.
It's bad marketing. Don't do it.
In this day and age, yeah.
Yeah. So Kate Hudson. Excellent performance.
Oh,
in
yeah.
my opinion. You didn't watch it. How do you know?
Oh, I was going to say Kate Hudson's a good actor.
Oh, she's a great actress, yeah. So Kate Hudson gave an excellent performance. The guy, not as good. She has a love interest in it. Not as good, but pretty fucking good. Maddie Ziegler, in my opinion, did a great fucking job playing a nonverbal autistic. It struck me as being the same type of performance that Leonardo DiCaprio gave in
And Who's Eating Gilbert Grape?
yeah, same caliber, man. I think and she's doing well. I looked at her bio, she's actually been in a lot of movies. I didn't know that. So the backlash that they got was basically the Biden thing. It was the narrative. So here's a narrative. If you're going to have a character in a movie that is nonverbal autistic, there are plenty of autistic people you can hire for that role. And here's one thing that Sia said that I have so much respect for her for. She had a whole bunch of people who are on the spectrum that are verbal enough that they can tweet somehow saying, hey, we offered to do it for like no money, you know, and you just have this girl that you've been working with for 6 years, that's your goddaughter now, like, you know, we deserve to be represented. And Sia got fed up at one point and she tweeted back, maybe you're a bad actor.
No, and that's, you know, in all honesty, that's fair.
Now, I watched a movie and I thought, I wasn't blown away by it, but I thought it was well done. Everybody did a great job. The dialogue was extremely natural. So I don't know who Sia got to do the dialogue, but if she did it herself, holy shit, really well done. I don't think she did. I'm
assuming it's Kevin Smith.
Well, not on that level. But it was really well done. It was quaint. It was cute. Maddie's character, they go into her head, and every time they go into her head and what she's thinking about, when she's hyper-stimulated or very happy, it's like a little Sia music video. You know, very artistic and just Maddie dancing and being imperfect. Now she's in union with her body. She's not autistic. She's not having all those tics and everything. And it was cool. It was like basically an hour and a half Sia video. It was neat. And I thought, you know, in a way, it was touching. It didn't blow me away, but it was a nice movie. And it was kind. And it was warm-hearted. The whole thing, from beginning to end. Warm-hearted, kind, pretty. I'm not going to say beautiful because I need a little bit of controversy for me to say something's beautiful.
So it needs to be Mother.
Yes. Mother was gorgeous.
Well, Darren Aronofsky is fucking crazy.
Or Antichrist or Nymphomaniac by Lars Trier. Lars Trier. Yeah. That's beautiful. So to me, I kind of come from the Odd Nerdrum camp, who's an artist. And he says, one of his famous quotes is, he's a painter. And he says, he's almost like a Renaissance painter, but his stuff is there's attention to it. And he says, beauty is not enough. But if you're going to say something's beautiful, it's a beautiful little movie. Let's say that.
Sure.
Okay. And it's just warm-hearted from beginning to end. And then the backlash, and people are shitting on this thing so hard that Sia, who is a recovering addict, ends up relapsing and has to.
Well, and
holy shit,
she's been very reticent to be public about herself anyway. Like
she uses Maddie Ziegler for all that attention because Maddie wants it and she don't. And I think that's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah,
and she tries to protect Maddie as best she can.
because Sia came into prominence writing songs for Rihanna.
She came into prominence before that. There's a lot of interviews where you can see her face, I found out. And then she hated fame so much, she stopped her solo career to write songs for Rihanna and people. And then the song that she offered to somebody did not get taken up. The producer insisted they use her original vocals for the song.
It was Chandelier.
I think it was Chandelier. But then in the video, that's where she ran into, because she was watching Dance Moms and was like, I have to have Maddie Ziegler. She can represent me. And that's where their relationship started.
Yeah, because Chandelier was the one, her big breakout that she didn't want.
So she just uses Maddie as a deflection from the energy that she doesn't want, because all the energy that Sia doesn't want to absorb, that the American and the worldwide public will inevitably give a very famous artist, that can be detrimental to their health. All right, look at Britney Spears.
Oh, look at the South Park episode about Britney Spears.
Oh my God, there you go. The sacrificial lamb. So all that energy that she doesn't want, that's thrown at her, she uses Maddie Ziegler as a deflection, because Maddie wants that energy. She eats it up. And if you look at her Instagram page today,
she's a tremendous performer,
eating it up. She loves it. So anybody that says she's being used, yeah, but it's symbiosis. That's the way I see it. Until something else surfaces, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, unless there's some kind of clear evidence of exploitation.
Exactly.
Abuse, yeah.
Exactly. And the documentary that I watched last night, I think was on Rumble, is called The Exploitation of Maddie Ziegler. And I was like, whoa, this is a lot of cool information, but I completely disagree with the story that the narrator is telling. I'm seeing this in a completely different context. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
So as far as these artists being part of the satanic elite, child sacrificing, adrenochrome drinking, child fucking, human eating vampires, there is that thing, because that thing exists. The energy dynamic, that's just a thing that exists. Okay? You can't take that away. We've given two pure examples of that with two different artists.
Every stage musician will sit there and tell you that they vampirize their audiences. They won't say it in that exact phrasing, but they will always let you, like,
they draw energy.
Ask anybody from Dave Grohl
to any comedian, by the way, any comedian.
Yeah, Dave Grohl to David Bowie even talked about it in interviews, where it was him feeding off of the energy of his crowd and stuff like that. It's like, even the Beatles mention it. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, that's just what performance art is. Like, if you're making art that's just standalone that you're not involved in, that's one thing. But if you're sitting there and you are a performance artist, whether you're a musician, a magician, whatever, you're eating the energy of the crowd that has amassed.
Now, a lot of people would say that's evil. How dare you do that? Okay, but wait a second. It exists. So I have 2 points. If you want to keep your energy from being eaten, you have to have the same presence of mind that the creator has. The only way to do that is to be present in the moment. So if you're going to a rock concert, you're in a place where somebody is acting and you are reacting. One, the audience, does not need a presence of mind. The other, the artist, is acting. They are orchestrating. They have to have presence of mind. Therefore, in that dynamic, guess who is gaining the energy? The performer. Unless the energy that they're getting is negative, it's a bad performance. Then they're robbed. Hugely robbed. But if it's
Creed.
Yeah. But if it's, or Britney Spears, a sacrificial lamb. But if it's a good performance, you can't help but give them your energy. Here's the other thing that I want to state unequivocally, that a lot of people in conspiracy theories that look into occult and astral vampires and things like that, just because an astral vampire or a performer or an artist or a witch or a sorcerer is feeding on your energy doesn't mean you lose any. you're not lesser for it. It's not like a gas tank where they're draining your gas, they're siphoning your gas and putting it in their tank, and then you came in with 3/4 of a tank and you're leaving with an eighth. It doesn't work that way. It's a dynamic. And the eating of the bodies or the draining of the energy, it's not literally a metaphor.
Except in Christianity.
Except in Christianity. Well said. Anything else you want to add to that? Because I'm finding a lot of beautiful art now that is the most controversial things. And I'm like, oh, this is just the Satanic Panic all over again. Let me look into this. And I'm finding beautiful fucking things and beautiful people creating things that fascinate me. And I'm so happy that at that point, I'm gaining so much energy from the things that I'm looking into with an open mind and so much inspiration that I'm happy that I have made that sacrifice to be kind of unmoved emotionally so that I can't be propagandized. Because when somebody comes along and says, this is evil, I'm like, I get curious. I'm like, let's look at that. And then I find things that genuinely move me rather than being captured by narrative. I find things that genuinely move me, like the artist is present, where I started tearing up watching her look into somebody else's eyes and watch them tear up.
Well, I sent you the other night because we were talking about interpretations of other people's art. And so I sent you a clip from The Voice that was a guy doing a cover of Bruce Springsteen's.
Oh, yeah. I didn't watch that yet.
So the funny thing is Dancing in the Dark is like, and I'm unapologetic about the fact that Bruce Springsteen's actually a great songwriter.
Sure.
And as much as his stuff's kind of kitsch, which would like be a non-nerdrum kind of thing. Like,
I'm okay with kitsch.
Yeah.
It doesn't emotionally grab me, but it's not my generation.
Yeah.
The fact that it's so emotional and it's not elevating anything, it's just grabbing your emotions, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
And so the reason why I sent it to you was because we were talking about how reinterpretations of an artist's art can be more powerful than the original piece itself.
Sure.
And so I sent it to you because it's just like this incredibly like heart-wrenching performance of a song that's kind of super kitsch. And
okay, I'll have to watch it.
And the thing that I always come away from with stuff like that is when it's performance art specifically. There's a threshold where your performance of the art transcends the art itself. And I feel like with
that's
stuff
being
like,
present.
Yeah. And that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
It's because, like, if you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, oh, well, these people are like this evil cabal of blah, 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 blah. It's like, do you have no soul? Do you not understand what being a human is?
Well, hey, listen.
And that's the thing that kills me is they're calling these people vampires and monsters. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't even know what it is to be human.
Mm-hmm. They know what it is to be godly, but they they certainly don't know what it is to be human.
Yeah.
Maybe start with human.
Yeah, I feel like human's the right place to start.
I think that's a good A. If you want to be God or godly, start with human.
Yeah.
Maybe go from there rather than just assuming the title and describing anything that is less than that as evil. Yeah. Or other than that as evil, I should say. Yeah, good point. Very good point. I had a few ideas to end this episode. We could do Alex Jones, in which I have a special surprise for you. I don't have printed out headlines. I'm just going to give you an old issue of the New York Post from after January 6th and let you pick your own headlines, which I think would be really funny. Or we could, because of copyright, we could sit down and watch Shia's Elastic Heart together without the without the video over it, so we don't get a copyright strike, and just like talk about it while we're watching it. Or I had another idea that just slipped my head. It was the worst of the three, where we could just end right here and
Oh, it's up to you, man. No, I'm leaving that entirely in your hands.
What would you rather do? Would you rather perform an Alex Jones, or would you rather talk about a very controversial video that I think is very inspiring?
I could talk about a controversial video as Alex Jones.
You want to try that?
I mean, whatever.
But see, I love this video, so I'm going to be very not.
You're going to be
not Alex Jones.
Yeah.
So, but we could try it, see what happens. Want to try it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. We can cut this recording right now. We'll see how it goes, and we'll figure out what to do with it.
All right, cool. Let me pee. We'll try it out.
All right.
So